The video is coming, y'all.
Ifu Umata, find his children, find his children. The commander of those on the ground, find their children. Very, very important. Find their children. Quotes. The defendants went for that. And I quote, start attacking the police, take their guns, use them against them, manufacture motor tours, cocktail, manufacture bombs to bomb them, unquote. The defendant at about 2 hours, 44 minutes, 35-second mark, while concurring with a caller who informed him of the intention of him, other IPOB members to burn down the Ezima police station, stated, not only one, I want every police station in Aba to be destroyed, completely destroyed, and burn them down. It is an order destroying them completely. Anybody who sees them with police uniform, kill the person. Nigeria wants anarchy. We will give them anarchy, unquote. In another broadcast, the defendant, while responding to a caller, stated this: you people must devise strategy to outfit the army. There are some guns in Edo State right now, as we speak. Use those guns to kill one or two of their army officers. Take their guns and begin to kill other people as well, because they cannot sustain this protest for 3 weeks. There are guns in Edo State already. Kill the army whenever you see them. Take their guns and kill them, unquote. The incitement of the defendant for the public to kill security personnel is quite clear from his big blockers. Not only incitement to kill security officers, the defendant even went as far as inciting the public to destroy all properties of the federal government during the NSAS protest of 20th October 2020. The defendant, in another live video dated 20th October 2020, the defendant, while responding to calls from his foot soldier during the NSAS protest, stated, and I quote, if you leave the Janjaweed and their agents the way they operate, if you leave them, believe you believe me, you will suffer. That very hotel must be brought down. I did not say set ablaze. It must be demolished. As an example to the rest, if you have not dealt with Tinubu in Lagos, the other will not learn their lesson. Tinubu is an evil man. The hotel referred here to is Oriental Hotel in Lagos, which the defendants allege belong to Tinubu. While responding to a caller, the defendant urged his callers to ambush the security forces during the protest and cut them off. He said, and I quote, go to the bush. You need to cut them off from the back, ambush them, take their guns from them and kill them. They are animals and not human beings. They may be wearing uniform like police or soldier, but they are animals. Disarm them and kill them. If you allow them to escape, your life is over. And I want Lagos airport to be on flame. Breached the perimeter fence and burn down the Lagos airport. If you have double barrel or pistol, go to the airport and burn it down. Said Muritala Mohammed airport on fire. Set it ablaze right now. You are dealing with animals. Fulani Janjawi, they do not reason, unquote. It is important to state that the said hotels and Muritala Muhammad Airport and other property in Lagos, they are not in the north, where it seems to aid with faction. Even his own fellow Igbos people have property in Lagos. With destroying the property is said to be agitation for self-determinations. The threats and destruction which follow were corroborated in Exhibit PWD2, which is a pictorial pictures of the assessment of damage done to the Nigerian police alone in the state of southern states. So many of these police stations and even police officers were killed as a result of the incitement by the defendant. Also, Exhibit PWD2A, which is a compilation of death reports and certificates of death of security officers in the report. The number of police officers who were killed was given as 128. Military officers were 37. Other security officers as 10. Number of police stations attacked were 164. INEC facilities destroyed were 9 in number. This clearly shows the extent of damage caused by the defendant through his inciting statements. Another caller called into the program informing the defendant that he was at Oshodi Papa Expressway and that they are killing them. The defendant, annoyed by this information, stated how many police?
I love these ones. Inside you can see they sort of like bluish. It's got a little bit of like glitter, and in the front they're purplish. This one really fits my face really nicely.
This is something that you definitely could get your prescription in. I don't know, I could see myself wearing this just as a fashion glass daily. It is beautiful. I was not expecting that.
These are very lightweight and they're very cute. They're not too much, but they're just enough to make a statement. This is a nice frame. I said that before.
Read. He further responded to another caller by saying, what I want them to do is to set ablaze the United building along Marina on fire. Every federal government property in Lagos should be burnt. That is what is going to be signal to the world that people have had enough. I want every federal government building in Lagos to be on fire. Every federal government vehicle or anything belonging to federal government, burn it. Go to the Muritale Muhammad Airport, burn it. How many soldiers do they have? Manufacture your own weapons and ambush them, unquote. The result of this incitement is the killing of several military officers, police officers, DSS officers. The incitement also led to the destruction of several police stations in Lagos across the southern states of Nigeria. According to PW5, he led a team of officers to investigate the destructions and killing of the security personnel that occurred during the NSAS protest of 20th October 2020, as contained in Exhibit PWD2 and Exhibit PWD2A. The results were quite alarming. The court is mindful not to attribute all the happening during the NSAS protest on the defendant. However, there is no doubt that the incitement by the defendant contributed largely to the killing of security operatives, as well as destruction of public properties. The defendant incited people to destroy property such as the Lassa police station, other police stations, and properties of the government. The evidence before this court shows that the said properties were actually destroyed, such as the Lassa police stations, the High Court of Lagos in Igoshere, as well as BRT buses belonging to Lagos State government in Oyinbo. PW2 also testified that military couples were killed by those incited by the defendants in Olu in Imo State. In addition, PW4 stated that his driver and one of his tactical officers were killed as a result of the incitement. The action of the defendants were clear, as it was aimed to cause anarchy by killing security operatives in Nigeria, which would in turn lead to breakdown of law and order. The defendant had an evil intention to wreak havoc on the people and government of Nigeria. Are all these actions consistent with agitation for self-determination? The answer to this is in negative. His violent outbursts, as well as his instigations of the public to attack and kill security officers in southern Nigeria without provocation, was downright barbaric and without any conscience whatsoever. The defendant did not feel any concern for the family of the officers who were slain. He turned himself to a tyrant who could take life anytime he pleased. Such persons cannot be allowed to remain in society of sane minds. His shocking instigations to kill other human beings was incomprehensible, and this court hereby condemned it. But I must say that the evidence extracted is minute compared to the avalanche of. I must say that evidence extracted in this judgment is minute and very small to the avalanche of evidence and broadcast before these courts by the defendant. The defendant made extremely threatening statements, incited people to violence. The prosecution has successfully discharged his burden of proving counts 4 and 5 beyond reasonable doubt. Consequently, the defendant is hereby convicted of the said counts 4 and 5. Now, count 6. For count 6, the defendant is charged with the offense of making a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria within the jurisdiction of this court, in furtherance of an act of terrorism against the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria, in which he directed members of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, a proscribed organization, to manufacture bombs, thereby committing an offense punishable under Section 1(2)(f) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. Section 1(2)(f) of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013 provides: 2. A person or body corporate who knowingly in or outside Nigeria, directly or indirectly, willingly, assists, facilitates, organizes, or directs the activities of person, organization engaged in any act of terrorism. The ingredients of the offense expected to be established are: 1. The defendant must be a person or body corporate. 2. The defendant must have assisted, facilitated, organized, or directed the activities of person or organization engaged in terrorist activities. 3. The defendant must have willingly assisted, facilitated, organized, or directed the activities of persons or organizations engaged in terrorist acts. The defendants herein have been established to be a human being. As to the second and third ingredient, the prosecution has led evidence to show that the defendant has directed members of the terrorist organization to build bombs, other explosives, in order to attack security operatives. Indeed, in furtherance of its terrorist actions and following the incitement of persons to kill defendant security operative, the defendant also directed his members to build explosive devices, particularly motorful cocktail. At about 1 hour, 30 minutes, 36 seconds of the broadcast of 20th October 2020, as contained in Exhibit PWW, the defendant, while responding to a caller about NSAS protest, stated, and I quote, "Now, this night, I want graduates to go to work, graduates of chemical engineering, those who were born as engineers, manufacture any ordnance you can, because they are coming to kill you anyway, regardless of what you do. Go and manufacture any ordnance. I am calling on the youth in the middle belt, and I want any bridge that they can use to reinforce to be destroyed. They are going to come from the middle belt. This night, we have engineers everywhere, people who are intelligent. Go back now and give us your own version of Mototo Kote. We must destroy them before they destroy us. Every youth tonight, anybody with a police uniform, anywhere, especially in Aba, in Lagos, once you have police uniform or any army uniform, that person is your enemy. Attack them, because if you don't, they will kill you. If you are a graduate of physics or chemistry, no sleep for you tonight. Go and manufacture something to destroy the police and every army police position starting from this night. Unquote. During the said broadcast, while responding to a caller named Jacob from Nasarawa State, the defendant even told the people how to build an improvised bomb. He asked them to go to a filling station to get fuel in a bottle, put a rag in it, that then they should set the rag aflame and hurt it at a soldier. A Molotov cocktail, according to Wikipedia.com, that I accessed at 1 a.m. on 20th November 2025 is a hand-drawn incendiary weapon consisting of a fragile container filled with flammable substances, equipped with a fuse. In use, the fuse attached to the container is lit and the weapon is thrown, scattering on impact, unquote. The online Britannica dictionary defines Molotov cocktails as a crude bomb, typically consisting of bottle filled with inflammable liquids and a wick that is ignited before throwing, unquote. Applying the above definition, the directive of the defendant to members of the group to build improvised bombs such as Molotov cocktail is indeed a terrorist act. A Molotov cocktail is capable of causing explosions, damage like any other bombs, which aim is to cause destructions. This directive, like other directive, is a manifestation of anarchy-minded of the defendant, which is set out to express through his Biafra radio, which he claimed to be the founder and director. The defendant, through the Radio Biafra platform, carried out so many terrorist attacks, which led to the destruction of lives and property in Nigeria. The defendant is not only confirmed to local terrorists, but I hold without hesitation that he is an international terrorist, flowing from his threats to attack British High Commission against the British High Commissioner to Nigeria at the time, Catherine Lyons, a known woman of peace. In a broadcast of 21st October 2020, the defendant stated thus, and I quote, "Radio Biafra is now in the hand of the enemy of our freedom. I don't know how much they paid for it, but I know that Britain spent about 4.8 billion a few days ago to support what is happening. That is what they have done. I told you a while back that Britain was now in charge of what is happening in the zoo, and you thought that it was a joke. It's not playing our program right now," unquote. The defendant also stated, "I am telling you people to go to the bush. Wherever you see a military convoy, you attack them. Whenever you see a police convoy, attack them. They are human beings, and they also bleed. Any person with a police uniform or any army uniform is your enemy." Around 57 minutes mark into that video, the defendant directed his threat at Catherine length, the British High Commissioner, he stated, and I quote, they came to Tinubu. It is a surprise that after the British Commissioner came to Tinubu, they opened fire on protesters in Lagos. You should not be shocked. The woman is dead, is demon, a big demon. She is too. We go come repentance. Around 1 hour, 8 minutes, 35 second mark, the defendant also stated, and I quote, the same thing that Britain did to Biafra in what they are doing to us now, media blackout. Do you want the world to report this issue? Take over the British High Commission. That is all. Take over the consulate in Lagos. Take over the one in Abuja. Every newspaper in the world will report it in the morning. If you march on the British High Commission in morning, front pages in the world will carry it, and the world will ask why is British Commission in Abuja and Lagos under occupation by Nigerian youth. Then it is over. I'm giving you a master strategy of how you should be done. In a formation of 3 lines, there is something I want you to do. I'm announcing it on air so you understand. People should go to every weather shop around you. You know those who build bullet-proof door. I don't care how much it costs. We will pay. Everybody who is a welder, who builds bulletproof, people should take those doors and put nails in front of them and stand in front of protesters so that bullets cannot go through. Push the door, get the weapons, and deal with them. When you are marching to the British High Commission tomorrow, form 3 lines. They will have the army surrounding them. They will send a cable to London that British High Commission in Lagos is under attack. They will be forced to release it. Then the whole world will know that a revolution is going on. Without that, you cannot succeed, unquote. Even recently, in this courtroom, on the 7th day of November 2025, when the matter came up before this court, the court wondered the kind of malice and hatred which the defendant had for Britain. I will produce same parts of the proceedings of that day hereunto. Defendants, he says, there are issues at play which my Lord has not able to overcome, which even the prosecution has not even attempted to overcome. My Lord, are you asking me to go into the doors to defend myself on a non-existing law? If you can state that for the record, my Lord, I will be most grateful that you are going to try me or ask me to enter my defense where no law exists. Because if that is the position, my Lord, that means that the outcome of very trial is predetermined. A man of my station and caliber cannot be tried without any valid law. It is impossible, my Lord. I will tell you why. This was the case. This very case is bigger than this court. The case of mine started in 1957 when some brave men and women in this very country dared to ask the British to leave. The funniest thing is that all of them that pioneered that very effort, they all went to jail and were killed. Court, I'm learning this now. Then ask the British to leave. Defendants. Yes, in 1957, Dr. Anthony Nao moved a motion at the House in Lagos asking the white men to go and leave us alone. From that day, trouble started. Even before then, the like of Abat Macaulay was jailed, honorable men that fought for the indignity of the black race because they want me convicted. They told me so. Absolutely, my Lord. Absolutely, 100%. They told me. They said, I will come to court to see, to hear your case, when you take your plea, when prosecution opens, then their case, when prosecution opens their case, when you start your cross-examination, when they refuse your no case submission, I am telling you what happened a year and a half ago when you file your no case submission and is rejected. You will not go into trial. You will be there doing the verdict. You will be there doing conviction. The court now responded. Let me just clarify this. It is also on record. You said that the British said that 1 year and a half ago that I was not the one presiding here. I want to say this, that I know my brother too, that was ascertain it will not get into that level of having anything to do, anything, because the way you are putting it. I want to say this. I do not have any relationship with the British. I have come here to do justice. I reiterate. Can you commence your defense so that if you commence today, I can extend time for you because your time has ended today. For the U.S. Embassy, it would have been attacked if not for the closure as a result of the protest. The defendant at about 2 hours, 24 minutes, 50 seconds, mark of the video of 24th day of October 2020 broadcast in Exhibit PWW stated, American embassy is shut down. Why won't they shut down? People are protesting. This statement regarding the embassy of United States of America is quite loaded. The statement could mean several things, none which are palatable or peaceful. What exactly does the defendant mean by the American embassy is shut down? Was he trying to attack the embassy if it has not shut down as a result of protest, or incite others to do same as he did in British embassy? The inference to be drawn from the statement is that the defendant meant to do harm to the embassy of the United States by attacking or invading the embassy. Under international law, the premises of an embassy or high commission of a foreign nation is deemed inviolable. That means that even though the land belongs to host country, it cannot invade such premises. See Article 22 of Vienna Convention or Article 22 of Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961. It provides thus: the premises of missions shall be inviolable. The agents of the receiving state may not enter them, except with the consent of the head of the mission. 2. The receiving state is under special duty to take all appropriate steps to protect the premises of the mission against any intrusion or damage, and to prevent any disturbance of the peace of the mission or impairment of its dignity. 3. The premises for execution, unquote. Thus, from the above, it can be said that the defendant incited for people to invade British High Commission and is threat against British High Commissioner Catherine Lyons and American Embassy is an act of international terrorism. This is the purpose of Section 3 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, which provides, and I quote, any person who intentionally murder, kidnap, commits other attacks on persons or liberty of an international protected persons. B. Carries out violent attack on official premises, private accommodation or means of transport of an international protected person in a manner likely to endanger his person or liberty. C. Threatening to commit any such attack, commit an offense, and is liable on conviction to life imprisonment. The High Commissioner is an international protected person, being the representative of the British government in Nigeria as well as other staff of High Commission and Embassy of the United States of America, leaving the defendant to continue his terrorist activity who have led to an international incident involving Nigeria and...
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
He is hereby convicted of count 6 of the charge. With respect to count 7 of the charge, the defendant is charged with importing into Nigeria and keeping in Ubuluzo in Ihiala, local government of Anambra State, within jurisdiction of this honorable court, a radio transmitter known as Tram 50L, concealed in a container of used household items which he declared as used household items, thereby committing an offense contrary to Section 47(2)(a) of Custom and Excise Management Act, Cap C45, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. The dispute as to which law provides for the offense in count 7 has been conclusively decided by the Supreme Court in case of Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Kanu, Supra, where my Lord M.L. Garba, JSC, while reading the lead judgment, heard, and I quote, "A calm reading of the details of the facts stated as constituting the offense mentioned or named therein would clearly and undoubtedly reveal that it deals with the offense punishable under the provision of Section 47(2)(a) of the Custom, Excise and Management Act, Cap C45, Laws of Federation of Nigeria, 2004, which provides as follows: 47(2). If a person A imports or causes to be imported any goods concealed in a container holding goods of different descriptions, or he shall be sentenced to imprisonment for 5 years without the option of fine. It follows in the above circumstances that the mention of the Criminal Code Act as being Chapter C45 or Chapter C45 in Laws of Federation of Nigeria, 2004, is a mere mistake in place of correct law. The Customs and Excise Management Act, under which the facts alleged to constitute an offense in count 15, is punished and punishable. The offense in count 15 is consequently recognizable and grounded in an extant existing law in Nigeria in which it was defined and described, unquote. Thus, the court will follow the decision of the Supreme Court and decide count 7 based on Section 47 of the Custom and Excise Management Act. The ingredients of the offense are The defendant must have imported or caused to be imported goods concealed in a container. 2. The imported concealed goods must have been of a different descriptions. The evidence led by the prosecution through PW4 is that the defendant imported into Nigeria a radio transmitter known as TRAM 550L concealed in container which contain used household items which he described as such. PW4 stated that indeed the Department of State Service had tracked the transmitter of Radio Biafra to a compound in Umuluzino in Ihiala, local government of Anambra State, belonging to one Benjamin Madubulu. The officer secured a search warrant, exhibit PWT, and proceeded to the compound where they recovered the container. Prior to going to the scene, PW4 testified that he watched a video of the defendant inspecting the container and the transmitter with Benjamin Modubugu. The court visited where the container was kept in the custody of the DSS, and same was admitted in evidence in the presence of the defendant as exhibit PWY, and he did not object to same. The container itself contains several household items which appear to be covered for the transmitter concealed in it. The prosecution has led evidence to show that the transmitter was smuggled into the country without same being declared to custom. That the cover of the household item was used to disguise its true content. The surrounding facts also show that the purpose for which the defendant intended to use the transmitter was to broadcast program on Radio Biafra, and this makes it concealed the transmitter. This is also not. There is also no evidence that Radio Biafra is registered with the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, as stated by PW4. Thus, it is safe to conclude that the concealment of transmitter is in furtherance of the illegal operation of Radio Biafra by the defendant. The defendant, as a consequence of resting his case on the prosecution, did not call any witness to report the evidence of the prosecution, neither did he lead any evidence to counter the evidence of the prosecution. There is no evidence before this court stating the transmitter was lawfully imported into Nigeria. The defendant had the duty to present evidence and failed to report the allegation made against him, but he failed and deliberately refused to do so. The court is therefore bound to believe the evidence of the prosecution. Consequently, the court hereby convicts the defendant of count 7 of the charge. I must say here that defendants have always claimed to be a freedom fighter. He is only seeking justice for his people. Indeed, this is known in law as the right to self-determination. The right to self-determination is a political right recognized in several international instruments. Article 1 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, 1966, provides, and I quote, "All people have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural group of people to form their political entity or their own governments." Article 20 of the African Charter on Women and People's Rights also provides, and I quote, "All people shall have the right to existence. They shall have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. They shall freely determine their political status and shall pursue their economic and social development according to the policy they have freely chosen." 2. Colonized or oppressed people shall have the right to free themselves from the bond of domination by resorting to any means recognized by the international community. 3. All people shall have the right to the assistance of the state parties to the present charter in their liberation struggle against foreign domination, be it political, economy, or cultural, unquote. Nigeria has domesticated the African Charter, which is known as the African Charter on Women and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Rights, which means the provision of the Charter are enforceable in Nigeria, provided they do not conflict with the clear provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Section 2(1) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended makes it clear that Nigeria is an indivisible state, which means there is no room for divisions. The said section provides, and I quote, Nigeria is one indivisible, indissoluble sovereign state to be known by the name Federal Republic of Nigeria, unquote. This means that anyone agitating for a breakup of the Federation of Nigeria is going against the Constitution. However, any person agitating for self-determination can do so through the National Assembly seeking for amendments of the Constitution regarding the indivisibility of Nigeria and to reflect the recognition of the agitating states. It is after this that the procedure can be said to be completed, but not excluding a referendum. Any self-determination not done in accordance with the Constitution and laws of the country will be illegal. The defendant is not only agitating for secession of the states of the Southeast, South, and some Middle Belt states. He is doing so using terrorism as a weapon. Terrorism has become a monster in the world today, and several groups have continued to use this weapon to form separate governments. In Nigeria, groups like Boko Haram, Lakurawa, IPOP have in recent years troubled Nigeria with terrorist activities. This terror group, by their activities, has denied innocent people the enjoyment of their fundamental rights. The action of the defendant and his terrorist organization have led to the bloodshed of innocent citizens, as well as security personnel who were going about their legitimate duty. His incitement through the broadcast on Radio Biafra as well as the social media platform of the group has led to the destruction of lives and property, as well as affect the daily life of his people of Southeast. The defendant did not only threaten the government of Nigeria, but his own people. This is seen in a broadcast while addressing the death of one of the commanders of IPOP, named Ikozo. The defendant on 25th day of April 2021 made a broadcast where he stated, and I quote, Ikozo was not killed on the battlefield, but was killed in his village in the middle of the night. Not on the battlefield, because of the battlefield, no army or police can defeat him. Ever since Eastern Security Network was launched, I have not seen anybody tell me that their life have not improved since it was launched. Around 21 minutes, the defendant stated, vengeance is a monster of appetite, forever blood-tasty, never filled. Ikozo is in heaven. He is going to be revenged, and by God, he will be revenged. All those who had hand in Ikozo death are all dead. People walking, all of them. He also stated that Ikozo will be mourned in a special way, just like how the Oba of Benin is buried, with human heads. That the said Ikozo is more than an Oba. Thank you. There is no for that purpose. Corroboration refers to supporting or additional piece of evidence that supports another evidence. See Ogunbayo and the state citation supplied, where the Supreme Court held, and I quote, corroboration having been held not to be a technical terms of all, means no more than evidence tending to confirm, support, and strengthen other evidence sought to be corroborated. This evidence is to corroborate the evidence, the statement of the defendants. I must say here that the prosecution witnesses were consistent and calm in in the giving of the evidence. Their calm demeanor, despite provocative questions under cross-examination, shows them to be witness of truth. I carefully observed them, and the only conclusion to reach is that they are witness of truth. And this court readily believed them. The defendants, on the other side, from its attitude in court, was truly very cocky, arrogant. He even stated that no court can convict him. This is a direct affront on the power of the court, which this court will not take for granted, but will do justice. It is interesting to note that the defendant, who claimed to be a freedom fighter, has even caused more harm to his own people, who are predominantly Christian faiths. Can this be said to be agitation for self-determination? Not at all. Agitation for self-determination cannot be to the detriment or to be detrimental to people who are supposed to be beneficiaries of that said self-determination. The usual sit at home order primarily affects his own people of the Southeast. The killing of people who disobeyed the order are his own people. Ordering of closure of churches and schools, as well as markets, also affects his own people. They are unable to trade, go to school, farm, even worship on such days. The threats of violence and death have prevented these people from going about their legitimate businesses. Are these acts of the defendants consistent with the agitation for self-determination? The answer is in the negative once again. The defendant was not elected by anybody, also cannot dictate for the people of Southeast, especially through intimidation, and threats of violence. He is a terrorist. He must be treated as such. In final analysis, the prosecution has successfully established the 7-count charge against the defendant beyond reasonable doubt. Consequently, he is convicted on all the 7 counts. By the time the next just 30 minutes I go to the chambers, anybody is free to come and get the certified 2 copy of the judgments.
As the court pleases,
When I get to the chambers, the next 30 minutes, it will be signed.
Thank you, my lord. May I invite your lordship's attention to the title of this case. It is Federal Republic of Nigeria
Every industry, every day, with easy ordering and fast delivery. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
this court for acts of terrorism. And my lord, in the last few weeks or last few days, Nigeria has been a season of victims of and are victims of terrorism. But my lord, this afternoon, this honorable court delivered its judgment, in which the convict Nnamdi Kanu was found guilty and convicted of offenses under Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. He has accordingly been convicted, and it is now to be sentenced. My Lord, the prosecutor has a duty to invite your Lordship's attention to a few points that will guide your Lordship in the sentencing. My Lord, by the judgment just delivered, this court has again affirmed the long-standing principle that whenever Nigeria as a nation is confronted with moments, actions, and events that pose grave danger to its existence, independence, and unity, the judiciary stands firm at the stabilizing force of the country, guided by the wisdom, courage, and integrity of judges who serve within that arm of government. Terrorism, my Lord, remains one of the gravest threats to humanity. It is among the most devastating of atrocities in human history. As the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, the convict, through his broadcasts on Radio Biafra and through the group Armed Wing, the Eastern Security Network, repeatedly attacked Nigeria and took active steps to desegregate the country. By the conviction of Nnamdi Kanu for acts of terrorism, it is clear that justice has been served to the thousands of innocent Nigerians who lost their lives as a result of the inciting broadcasts and violent activities of Eastern Security Network. The blood of those who have died cries to heaven, and God in his mercies has given them justice. Justice has honored their cry. The families of more than 75 security officers who were murdered in the service of their fatherland will now find some comfort in this conviction. Those whose relatives were brutally killed and buried with e-console of the order of the convict here have not died in vain, because justice has been done. My Lord, the records before this court are replete with the losses suffered by citizens of Nigeria residing in the interstates of the Federation, citizens who, through no fault of their own, were forced to live in fear, had their businesses destroyed, and were reduced to paupers as a result of sit-at-home orders issued by the convict and violently enforced by the commanders of ESN. Justice has today set them free from oppression and economic strangulation caused by the terrorist activities of the convict. The convict now knows that the law is greater than any individual. Therefore, justice has been done to him too, and that Nigeria has both the power and the capacity to punish anyone who, through deliberate, reckless acts of terrorism, seeks to divide the country by attempting to create the so-called Republic of Biafra by force out of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My Lord, consequent upon the conviction, as nothing further remains but the lawful imposition of sentence. The punishment prescribed for the offenses in counts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is death penalty. Pursuant to Section 1(2)(h) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, my Lord, with all sense of humility, I say, sir, as a prosecutor, that this court has no discretion in that regard, and that the only sentence that your Lordship will impose for counts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is death sentence. This court has the power to do so, and with respect must do so. The language of the Act is clear, and the court is urged to apply it strictly without deviation. For the offense under Count 3, relating to membership of IPOB, a proscribed terrorist organization, the punishment is imprisonment for a term of not less than 20 years, in accordance with Section 16.3 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. We urge your Lordship, in accordance to death sentence, to also pronounce and impose the sentence as prescribed by law, having found him guilty and convicted. For the offense under Count 7, the punishment is 5 years imprisonment without the option of a fine, pursuant to Section 46 and 47 of the Custom and Excise Management Act, Cap C 45 Laws of Federation. In sentencing, this honorable court is obliged to consider the nature and gravity of the acts of terrorism committed by the convict. It was against, the acts of terrorism were against innocent Nigerians who reside in the southeastern states. It is also a terrorism act against Nigeria, whereby nobody felt safe and secure in Nigeria, having regards to the activities of IPOB and ESN. The court is urged to note that the company has shown neither remorse nor penitence for the innocent Nigerians who died as a result of his directives and incitement. He has demonstrated no respect for the administration of justice. His conduct, even within the court, has been marked by arrogance and a heart far removed from humility. When he was going out, he looked at me and said, God will bless me. He won't say God will punish me. He said, God will bless me. And I say, amen. Because I'm a blessed man. It is not him, a convict, who can now put a curse on me. He cannot do that. So in any event, my Lord, I'm not being personal, but I want to assure you that somebody in that position ought to show some penitence, ought to show some remorse, ought to throw away arrogance and self-serving attitudes. The court is further urged to take judicial notice of the fact that the convict established Radio Biafra, a broadcasting platform operating on several digital channels, including mobile radio, Twitter, YouTube, confiscation, or restrictions of the means used to commit the act of terrorism as a form of preventive control the prosecution praised this honorable court to impose restriction on the convict's access to digital devices, online accounts, or internet facilities. In other words, my Lord, anywhere he may be kept until his execution in obedience to the sentencing, if he has access to these devices, and they are cheap and easy and available everywhere in Nigeria, there will continue to be broadcast. Maybe he will claim he was not the one. At the moment, if you open to YouTube, you see a lot of rascals talking about the proceedings of the court, trying to twist and misread and mislead the people with what happened in court. So we're asking that your Lordship should restrict him from having access to these devices. This Honorable Court, my Lord, has the statutory power to prevent convicts from further committing offenses by making orders for the forfeiture, confiscation, and restriction by any means used for communication. We therefore pray that the court to order the forfeiture of all the broadcasting equipment, digital devices, and all electronic materials seized from the convict and currently in the custody of the Department of State Security, State Service. In particular, the radio transmitter, Trans 50L, unlawfully imported into the country, should be forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. My Lord, we want to say, sir, with all respect, that it might be argued that access to information, access to digital devices may be argued within the constitutional rights, but it's not absolute. So therefore, sir, if your Lordship want to order his restriction, your Lordship may give him a right to acquire any, but with the permission, with the authority of National Security Advisor and the Controller General of the correctional facility that he may be put. Therefore, my Lord, it's not an absolute or free right for him to begin to acquire those digital devices that may encourage him to reenact or to begin to commit the same or similar offense under his right to freedom of speech. So we are saying, my Lord, that your Lordship should restrict it. My Lord, considering that the company has to be in a custodial facility, we are asking your Lordship to direct that for the safety of the convict, for his safety, for his security, and for the protection of his life until your sentence or is executed, I respectfully, sir, as prosecutor, plead with your Lordship to direct that he be kept in the safest custodial center anywhere in Nigeria, because his safety is very important. Your Lordship need to take judicial notice of what happened when Simon Ekpa was sentenced in Finland. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of talks and talks. The convict has enemies. He has friends. But no one can say the volume or the number of his enemies who may want to eliminate him. So we are asking, my Lord, that your Lordship order the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to keep him in the safest custodial center anywhere in Nigeria. You know, and if I may say with all sincerity, I am not too sure that Kuje, where there have been jailbreaks, will be the ideal place. So I'm urging your Lordship, with all sense of responsibility, to preserve his life until he answers his sentence. So I thank your Lordship, and I pray that the incidents of terrorism will cease from Nigeria, from north to east, to northwest, to north central, and as we see, may God spare Nigeria of disintegration. I want to thank you. I want to appreciate you on behalf of my colleague, Adebayo Ojo, and Suraj Saida. We're grateful to your Lordship for a well-researched, a well-reasoned, and a courageous judgment. Thank you, my Lord.
There is no doubt that the convict has waived his right to be present through his unruly attitude, the habitual unruly attitude to be in court when the judgment was read. But we must still give him opportunity to hear one or two things from him, but not personal through his person. Since his consultant is here and the offense has to do with death sentence, I will call his consultant, that was his lawyer before he converted him to consultant, if he has any allocutors to make on his behalf. Mr. Jimako, do you have any allocutors to make on his behalf?
My Lord, being an officer in this temple of justice and not being properly dressed and not being his counsel of record, I will yield this very task to Honorable Obinna Agocha, who is better qualified than me, being the member of House of Representatives who represents Mazen Nnamdi Kanu.
It's okay. Honorable, let me have your full name and restrict yourself to allocutors.
Yeah.
Allocutors is what will mitigate the sentence. Is our brother. Let us consider, let us hear you. You tell us your name. We can't, because of your ruling behavior, deprive him of allocutors. Can I hear from you?
Thank you, my Lord. My name is Right Honorable Obi Agocha. I represent the good people of Iguano, Umuahia North and Umuahia South Federal Constituency in the 10th National Assembly. My Lord, I am the direct representative of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That's why you see me here almost every time, showing presence and also showing solidarity with him. The matter has come to a closure for now. I'm not his lawyer. I wouldn't know whether they will seek appeal. But for now, the Lord, he's my brother. He's my friend. I went to school with him. We attended primary and secondary school together, though he was my junior. But it is my responsibility and obligation as a member of the National Assembly to represent him as well. My Lord, I plead for mercy, I plead for clemency, and I appeal for peace and for stability of not just the Southeast, but as well as Nigeria, Like the prosecutor said, Nigeria is bleeding over the last few days, and we must bring some of these issues to bear and to understand how to find common solutions to our common problem of terrorism. I also wish to appeal to the prosecution team that it has been done to Nnamdi Kanu. The other people out there also doing more worse than him.
Please,
Sorry, sir.
I asked for a locutor.
Yes, sir.
Please, don't
So, I apologize, sir. So, I want the court to take judicial notice of that this trial has gone on for almost 10 years. Mazikano is almost 56 or 57 years old now. He has been absent in his family life, his children, his community, his family. So I plead for the Lord to show mercy, to temper justice with mercy. And as we move forward, it shall be great for our country. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm a friend of the court, having come from the other side of the government. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the court. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will consider all this, and I will rise and come back by 10 minutes to 4. You may go and come back 10 minutes to 4 for the sentencing. I will rise and come back.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, the court has ended. When we talk about the 1999 Constitution being a problem, people think it's a joke. As long as we are operating under that current illegitimate 1999 Constitution, we'll continue to see what we may not like. So why don't we use this opportunity um, as something that we can learn from? What is it that we can do right now to um, to get what we want? And for Ninas, we say we need to renegotiate Nigeria. We need to renegotiate Nigeria for us to get any type of justice or fairness for anyone at all. I'm not saying anything was done in this case, But I'm saying in general, because if we keep waiting for somebody else to do it for you, when you get there, you will chop breakfast. My sister will say you will chop breakfast. They will feed you breakfast by fire, by thunder. What do we need to do now to move forward? Join us, join the movement, Ninas. We are looking to create an environment where it is good for men, women, children. My sister will always say that "Ọ dịrị onye emegbukwele nwa mmụọ, nwa mmụọ emegbukwele nwa mmadụ." Our ancestors believe in duality, nwoke nwanyị elu ala. We function when things are in balance. We love for things to be in balance, but you can see when you live in a place called Nigeria, anything can happen to you. Why Boko Haram are busy killing people, kidnapping children, kidnapping school children, doing all manner of stuff, they have not been brought to justice. But yet, justice can be delivered for anyone. Again, I blame it on the 1999 Constitution. So there's no need for us to start crying, begging, calling on God, doing all the things that we need to do. Please do not go into fasting and praying, because that's not going to do anything. You'll be fasting and praying, and even worse things will happen. What we need to do is to be enlightened about what we need to do. We need to take some actionable steps. And what are those actionable steps? Go to www.dinasvoice.org. The job has been done for us to renegotiate Nigeria. Nigeria must be renegotiated for people to get equity, fairness, and justice. Until next time, brothers and sisters, remain blessed. You are always welcome on this channel. What we need to do for me as a mother, there is nothing that I want more. There is nothing that I want more, if not for the benefits and the best future for my children. And I understand that any person with their mind still intact also want that for their children. But we cannot base on those we cannot base those actionable steps based on rumors, based on emotions, based on what was discussed. We need to do it based on research, based on evidence-based research. What works? What can we do actually to get this thing going? The NINAS has done the work. The UN, the UNDRIP, that has been set up for self-determination is there, the right way to do it without terrorizing your brothers and sisters, without closing down their businesses, without hurting and shooting people or unarmed people. There is a legitimate way to get the freedom that we want, and that job has been done. And the sooner we come in, the sooner that we join to see what we need to do, the better for us. Again, that website is www.ninasvoice.org, brothers and sisters. ninasvoice.org. There is nothing wrong with self-determination. There's nothing wrong with self-determination. It's all about the way you go about it. There is nothing wrong with self-determination. You must follow the international recognized way of doing it. And Ninas has done that job, no matter what whoever said out there to blackmail Ninas, because it's all about popularity. Let me have all the attention on myself. Let me take from my people, bring money, send it to Germany, do all these things. And we're saying that's not even the way. There's a international recognized way of doing these things the right way. So if you are an honest person, if you have really sat down and thought about this, and you want to find the legitimate way of getting this done, the work has been done. There's no need for you to go and start diving, looking for more. Go on ninasvoice.org and interrogate those informations there. We do not have information where we're telling you Okonkwo has one in his bronchos, this one has the other one in the armpit. No, we laid it out there so that you, the educated people, I don't know how to speak. What I am is a strategist. I don't know how to mix all the words together and make it flow. So for you, please go on that website and interrogate, because again, the work has been done. We can get the self-determination that we want in an international recognized manner. Until next week or next time, brothers and sisters, continue to remain steadfast. Continue to believe in the God of your ancestors, because they are real, not God of Rome, not God of England, a God of your ancestors. They are there and they are working, and they will reveal to you what needs to be done. Okay? We are not going to run away from our problems. We're going to solve it. And before I leave, I want to remind all of us that if we don't get this work done, if we do not get this work done, we are literally leaving our children to be slaves for others because they are not as strong as we are. They are not as strong. They have not suffered the way we suffer, so they are not as strong as we are. We have to do this work. We have to do this work. All right, I have to go to work soon. So you take care. We'll see you guys next time.